Welcome, my friends. We're right here live in Milwaukee at the Republican National Convention. And it is quite chaotic here. We're outside the perimeter. And I'll give an idea of what you're looking at as soon as I introduce our guest, Tom Renz. Tom, how are you?
I'm doing great, Raj. How are you?
Doing good. I know this is very real time. We just contacted you just a little bit ago. You're able to fit the interview in. I really appreciate that. For the people that are watching, I'm going to let Tom introduce himself in just a moment, but just to let you know where we're at. Right behind me, over my shoulder, is the Pfizer Forum. That is the epicenter for the RNC. That is where President Trump, J.D. Vance, all the speakers are speaking in that area there. Where we are is outside the secure perimeter. I don't know if you can make it out, but there are checkpoints with armed security, concrete barriers. Behind the barriers are heavy-duty vehicles, so if someone tries to ram through the barriers, they can't get through that. We've got police all over. On my left side, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 armed police officers there. That's just on one corner. There's a beautiful river here in the city. There are boats with automatic weapons from the police there. We have press. Tom, we've got someone behind me. Can't quite make it out. We'll try and put it in the B-roll. He's got a picture of the shooter who shot President Trump, and it says American hero. We've got that across the street from them. We've got a man preaching. He is trying to spread the gospel. And we got a preacher on the other corner with the loudspeaker also preaching. So it's a lot of chaos, a lot of commotion. Tom, let the people who don't know who you are know who you are and talk a little bit about what I just described.
Well, I appreciate it, Raj. My name's Tom Renz. I'm an attorney. My name became most known for my work on COVID, the lockdowns, the vaccines, and that sort of thing. Our work has evolved over time, and we're actually just fighting corruption now. We're fighting corruption across the board. We don't care who it is or what it is. If we see someone doing something dirty, we don't mind speaking out about it. We've got the Tom Renz Show that runs on Rumble, Locals, X, everywhere else. I mean, we're all over the place. We do lawfare. We do legal. We do political. We do PR. We do everything we can to make sure we have an awake and informed public, and then we get out and we fight for them as well as just talking. So we do it all. And, I got to tell you, I've done so many events at this point, and God's been good that he's given me that opportunity. I can almost picture, because you just get all kinds. You get some people that are just straight up wackadoodles. You get some people that are just amazing, incredible people. You got just all kinds, and it's always such an awesome thing to meet people and to shake their hands. But, the thing that stuck out most about what you just said, describing that scene, is, can you imagine? So you've got some nut job in there holding up a picture of an attempted assassin and calling him an American hero. Now, I want you to think about this. If a Republican holding up a picture of President Trump said, "My president," showed up in an Antifa meeting, how would that go?
Violent, very violent.
And I assume there's no violence, there's no chaos. Everybody's probably just ignoring the lunatic, which is what they ought to do. He has the right to be an idiot, and he's demonstrating it. And that's that. But this is the difference between people who believe in American greatness, people who want to see America made great again, and the people that we're standing against. It's not the people we hate, because we don't hate. It's the other side that hates. It's the other side that promotes violence, that promotes rhetoric. And that guy being there with no real consequence is absolutely the demonstrative of what we saw with Trump. The left tries to shoot someone they don't like. We tolerate their absurdity, recognize their right to speak even when they're being absurd, and then we come together to actually preserve and to fight for the right of morons like this to be morons.
It's remarkable, Tom. You summed it up beautifully there. And we want to get right into it. We only have a few minutes with Tom Renz. He is literally booked almost 24/7. He sleeps very little. When he's not talking to the public like he's doing now, he's working around the clock to defend those who cannot defend themselves. And he has become a resource for thousands of people throughout the country. So I want to be very judicious about our 15 minutes that we have with him. So Tom, I want to get right into a couple of specific things. As everyone knows now, the Secret Service had a remarkable misstep. That is known. What is not known as much is the lady who's in charge of the Secret Service, Kimberly Sheetal, said on an interview with CBS that it is one of her priorities to execute DEI in the Secret Service, which is just another way of making sure that they have a quota of people that are from different skin colors, different different races, different genders. That was a priority that she added to the Secret Service list. Now, fast forward, it is bewildering that a 20-year-old was able to fire multiple shots and penetrate the security envelope of the Secret Service. This gaffe, this misstep, exceeds the incompetence of the third world nations that I came from. But at the heart of it is leadership that has lost their way, have confused priorities, and now have jeopardized our nation. Tom, please comment on any of that.
Yeah, so absolutely. And the first thing I'm going to say is I refuse to accept that this was an accident. I want the evidence to back up that it was an accident and not intentional, and I have a lot to say about that. But before I do, I want to point out the obvious. So Raj, you and I look different, don't we?
We sure do, Tom. You're way much better good looking.
I don't know about that. I'd say I'm the ugly guy, but I'm also a 6'4" white dude, right? We both have the same color blood, though. We both bleed red, and so does everybody else. Here's the problem with DEI. DEI says that because you look different than me, you're somehow less competent or capable, and so we've got to give you a leg up. And I got to tell you, as a big, ugly white guy, I can't think of anything that I could say to someone who looks different than me that would be more demeaning than to say, you know what? You look different than me, so you can't be as smart, as capable, as competent. So I got to give you a leg up, right? I mean, Raj, if I told you, and I know you're doing the interview, but let me turn it around here for 1 second and just ask you. If I said, Raj, since you're not white, you're not as capable as me, I got to give you a handicap. I mean, what could be more demeaning than that? Am I wrong?
That is not only so insulting, but for those people that buy into that on the other side, they are losing sight who God created them.
Yes, they are.
God created every single skin color, every single shape of nose, every single style of hair. You're very iris and fingerprint is unique.
Yes.
He did not mean any of that to mean that people's capabilities are different.
No.
So you're right on point there, Tom.
No, but where it becomes an issue is when we get past things like skin color and start getting to legitimate things like male versus female. I am 6'4", 235 pounds. The number of women on this planet that could do anything to me of any consequence is, I started fighting. I started doing martial arts and training and physical training pre-teen for 30 plus years. The number of women on this planet that could defend someone against me are none, zero, right? I've met a couple real tough martial arts women that might slow me down a bit, but they can't even, it's not close. This is just a reality. Donald Trump is a very big man. He's 6'4", just same size as me. How is someone who's 5'4" going to stop a bullet for him? What are they supposed to jump? This is absurd. This is absolutely absurd. And when it comes to keeping a president alive, the only thing that matters is results. The only thing. It doesn't matter about your intentions. It doesn't matter how good of a heart you've got or how hard you tried. This is a situation where the only thing that matters is results. And instead of worrying about keeping a president alive, this buffoon, this absolute incompetent, bigoted buffoon, and I say bigoted because if you embrace DEI, it's like I said to you, you're embracing the idea that some people are inferior because of how they look. In the case of men versus women, you're actually lying to yourself and ignoring the fact that there are physical differences. Now, listen, as far as most jobs, it doesn't matter because most jobs don't require a major physical presence. But when it comes to physical safety or physical prowess, there is no comparison. There just isn't. And this is such an absolutely such an absolute.
It's remarkable. It's
remarkable.
And you know what's even important to say here, Tom, is that the House, the Speaker of the House, wants to do a hearing.
Yes.
And that may happen, that may not. But what's also important here is, as you were talking about this maladministration, lack of leadership and vision, Kimberly Sheetal, the lady we've been talking about, reports to the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security, as you know, is headed up by Alejandro Mayorkas. Why that's important is Alejandro Mayorkas has already been summoned to Washington, D.C. He's had very tough questions asked of him. A lot of Republican congressmen and women, and I call it Republican because they're the ones that are complaining about Alejandro Mayorkas' handling of the border, the J6, cybersecurity. They're the ones that are complaining. So they bring him, they ask him tough questions, and then you know what those same Republican, I'm a Republican, but those same Republican congressmen and women do? They write a check back to Alejandro Mayorkas funding his operations. So Tom, this is very incestuous. It's like a cancer that spread. And at the end of the day, the people that are watching this have got to, if they want to, apply pressure on their congressmen and tell them, stop funding the illegitimate actions of these bureaucrats. Or if you don't, they'll continue to do it. Back to you, Tom.
It's worse than that. It's worse than that. Because, when Mike Johnson sold us out and passed the omnibus bill, and yes, vote Republican this term because we can't vote Democrat. The Democrats are straight up communists. They've lost their minds. I mean, when you've got people like AOC speaking for your party, you're lost. But, in terms of the Republicans, we have too many Jim Jordans and Mike Johnsons. Mike Johnson does a wonderful speech telling us how much he loves Trump, but he just passed the omnibus bill, which means that for the first year of Trump's presidency, we're stuck with the Biden policies and the funding and the support of Biden's policies through all the administrative branches. The omnibus bill was a gift for the Democrats. And, I don't care how many good speeches you give or how many strongly worded letters or how many hearings you have. I want results. I want you to pass legislation that's going to roll back some of this crap. How about the 80,000 IRS agents, right? How about we pass legislation that pulls back that? But no, they wouldn't do anything. And, ultimately, Republicans have given Joe Biden everything he wanted. And the result has been the country that we have. And, they'll tell us that they need a majority before they can do anything. Well, when you won't leverage your power as a minority, why should I trust you in the majority? At the end of the day, we have to vote Republican because it's the only option in this country. But we need to do a better job about holding them responsible. And I'm going to say this, Raj. I am firmly of the belief the legislation and the things that have been done under Biden are being structured. I think Donald Trump wins this presidency. And I think that first year that Donald Trump is there, where we're living with Joe Biden's policies, Joe Biden's budget, all the things that Joe Biden put into place, I think it's going to be rough as hell. And I think that the patriots, the people who actually want to see America strong and make America great again, we need to be prepared. We need to be doubling down, and we need to be ready to fight like hell, because that first year is going to be ugly.
Well spoken. And these are words from a man who has become a fighter. He didn't go to school or open his practice to this kind of work, but he has gone in an area that previously was uncomfortable and has started defending those who cannot. Why? Because that's his skill set. And so for those of you who are watching this, as you're listening to what you just heard from attorney Tom Renz, the important thing for you to consider is right now across the country, you have primary elections. In the primary elections, you get to choose what type of person represents you. If you wait till the general elections in November, you can't do that. All you can choose is, are you going to have a Republican or a Democrat? But within the Democrat bench, the Republican bench, or whatever bench you're in favor of, now's the only window where you can choose the status quo, a guy like Jim Jordan, or the Speaker of the House, or a challenger like Jerry James in Florida, like Michelle Posey in Sarasota, like so many other challengers that are standing up to the incumbents. But my friends, you've got to get yourself to the voting booth. You've got to vote in the primaries. You've got to take your friends and family to the primaries. In Florida, it's happening August 20th. They've already mailed the mail-in ballots, which means people are voting right now. In your state, it's going to be a little later or a little earlier, but you have to take action now. When Tom Renz says we've got to fight like hell, this is where the battle is for you and I right now. Back to you, Tom.
Absolutely. And listen, to my brothers and sisters in Florida, a lot of you feel like you're in a good spot because it's a very red state, but I'm going to tell you right now, you got work to do. There's bad laws that are passed in Florida, all sorts of tough things that are there. You got work to do. There is no state in this union that is truly where it needs to be. Not one. Every one of us has work to do. And ultimately, it will always be the case that we have work. You know, the reason that we're in the situation we're in is because we, the people, have squandered the gift of freedom that our forefathers bled for. We stood aside and we let things go because life was so good we didn't have to fight. And so we didn't. Now we wake up and we see a situation where we're facing economic collapse, we're facing disease and chaos, we're facing invasions through our southern border, we're facing, corrupt elections, we're facing all sorts of issues. We have a lifeline right now with Donald Trump. We have a lifeline, but it's going to take more than, I don't care. I understand Donald Trump's a powerful figure and he's done incredible things, but it's not enough. If we, the people, don't get our butts up and do what's necessary to support MAGA, to support making America great again, and understand that's not just Donald Trump. Yes, we need him in the White House, but making America great again means each and every one of us has a duty and a responsibility to ask tough questions, to hold power accountable. Right now, we're looking at a situation where the president, the hopeful future president of the United States, standing on a stage, giving a speech. The Secret Service, the local police all become aware of a guy with a gun in a position to shoot him. The Secret Service let Donald Trump stand on that stage with a bullseye, a Biden bullseye right on his head for minutes, knowing that a guy had a gun pointed at him. That cannot be an accident. And I don't care what they say. I don't care how much obfuscation there is. Do not tell me that the Secret Service was unaware. We know that they were. And explain to me why it is. And when you would accidentally let a president stand on a stage in front of a gun and not rush that stage if you're the Secret Service and get him off that stage immediately. They waited for him to get shot at. I don't believe this was an accident.
This is a very, very serious time in our country. I want you to go do a couple of things, the folks that are watching this. One, Tom Renz is an example of a man that speaks without fear, acts without hesitation, and defends those that cannot be defended. I want you to please consider supporting the work that he does. He didn't ask me to ask this, but I'm asking you, people, on his behalf. So, Tom, could you please let us know how people can get in touch with you, find out how they can shoulder with you in the work that you're doing, and also furthering the message that you said here and all of the other interviews that you share?
Well, thank you so much, Raj. You can find me at www.tomrenz.com. You have to actually type it. If you Google search Tom Renz, all you get is hit pieces. If you type www.tomrenz.com, you can find me. You can find us on social media. We're big on X. And we have got a daily show that we run. And if you want to support us, please consider going to GiveSendGo/Renz Law. GiveSendGo/Renz Law. We do need financial support. We need prayers. We need whatever you can. We do whatever we can to fight for freedom in this country, and we're honored to do so.
Tom, I just thank you so much for the instruction, the vision, the clarity that you made known on this interview. My friends, you have to take action. We have a training program that's available for you. What does the training program show you how to do? You heard Tom Renz say, you've got to hold your elected officials. You have to hold your leaders accountable, appointed or elected. Well, how do you do that? Who do you call? What do you say? How do you get past the gatekeeper? If you want to know the answers to that and understand how to fight like hell to rescue our stolen republic, go to the homefront.tv/premium. Homefront.tv/premium. You'll have training there from Dinesh D'Souza, Mike Lindell, General Flynn, Debbie Farris, on how you can get with your people in your county, stand them up to oppose this nonsense that we are seeing at the national level. Make no mistake, my friends, for you to change what is happening in Washington, you have to convert what's happening in your county. When you do that in your county, you can secure your area, then you can secure your region, then you can secure your state, then you can mount an effective opposition to the nonsense happening now. The last thing I want to share with you, we talked about Speaker of the House, we talked about Jim Jordan. Almost every Congress member that you and I have elected, if you're Republicans, is talking and then writing a check to fund this nonsense. You, my friends, have got to get them fired. How do you do that? Go to homefront.tv/premium. Find out how you can get the person who's challenging the incumbent and get them hired and the incumbent fired. We cannot do any worse than the current state of people that are in Washington. I'm going to ask Tom Renz to wrap this up with a message to really help galvanize and to take into action. I'm going to ask him to repeat the Give, Send, Go address, the attorney address as well. Tom, take it home for us.
www.tomrenz.com and GiveSendGo/Renz Law. Listen, at the end of the day, we have to do two things. We've got to make sure we've got a Republican majority and president, which will be Donald Trump. And then we have to work 1,000 times harder than we ever have to make sure that that Republican majority does what they need to promote a truly America First agenda. That's going to come down to we the people. The lobbyists will keep doing what they do, and the Republicans and the Democrats are all beholden to them on some level. We have to hold power to truth. We have to apply truth to the power every time, every situation. We cannot relent. We have to triple down. We have to go after the corruption wherever we see it, and we have to stand together as a free and unified nation that comes together under the principles of freedom. Freedom and equal opportunity for all, never equal outcomes. That's communism.
This has been Tom Renz and Raj Doraisamy live from Milwaukee, right at the heart of the Republican National Convention. Please share this interview with the people in your life and send them a note saying, I want you to support the work that Tom Renz is doing. You got to write that note. You got to make that call. It's up to you to be a doer, not just a hearer. Tom, thank you so much for speaking with us. Look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank you, Raj.